Hi, today on Cruising with Wheels, we're talking about sailing sign cards. That's right. Our number one question we get asked is about sailing sign cards, and we are going to answer those questions today. So we recently got a comment from Leanne Buskirk, and I'll read it to you. It says, I'm new to your station, and I love how you guys have these videos. I wish I would have seen this on my first cruise last year, but I'm getting myself prepared this year for sure. So, thank you. By chance, did you guys make a video about the payment they request on a credit card before you go on the ship? We only go on Norwegian, and I am trying to explain it to my mother-in-law, but I don't think I'm explaining it quite right. So, if you don't mind explaining it to me, or if you have a video about it, so I can show her, that would be great. Thanks, and have a great day. Well, thanks, Leanne, for your comment. I did get back to you, but I thought, you know, we've never done a video on sailing sign cards, and we do get the question quite often about what it is, how do I fund it, how do you and Frank fund your account, a whole bunch of different things. So today we're going to talk about the little card. And basically what happens is every cruise that you will go on, no matter what line you go on, will give you one of these little cards. Some cruise lines call them sailing sign cards. Some call them sea passes. Really doesn't matter what they call them. They all function the same. So once you check in at the cruise port prior to boarding the ship, you will be issued a card. And during the procedure, they will be taking your picture as well. The picture will be linked to the card, as well as you have a few options of funding the card. Because when you're on the ship, this card is your room key, your identification, and kind of like a credit card. So you need to fund it. So the options for you for funding your card, and that's called your onboard spending account, would be simply to use a credit card, any major credit card, a debit card, but be very careful because a debit card is not the same thing as a credit card, or good old cash. So there are advantages and disadvantages to a few of the options for funding. So let's start backwards. If you fund your account with cash, you will need a pretty hefty deposit up front. I'm not quite sure because I'm making this video to be generic for all the different cruise lines. So each cruise line will have their rate that they're going to want up front. They might want $200 a person. They may want $500 a person. You're just going to have to check with whoever you're sailing with as to what their requirements of cash you will need to pony up before you board the ship. Now, this is a great option if you, A, don't have a credit card, B, don't want to use your debit card, C, maybe you don't want to come home to a bill. I know that's always a great thing. Frank and I like to come home with the least amount of money on our credit cards as possible. However, we never use cash to fund our onboard account. And I'm going to tell you why. One, you usually have to come up with quite a bit of money up front. So that means you're carrying it with you on your travel day. And we don't really want to be a victim of anybody stealing our money. So that would be one reason. Another reason is while you're on the cruise, they will be doing incremental holds on your Cefalu-McNamara card. So what'll happen is, say you bought a few things at the at one of the shops on board, and then you and your honey have a few specialty dinners, and you're drinking and having a great time. If you put down cash, once you reach a certain point in your spending, and this cash is now, spent, and let's say you only have $100 left on your account, they might call you and say, sorry, you can't use your onboard account anymore until you put more money on. And the simple reason of that is, even though you still have some left on the account, some cash left on the account to use, is they don't want to be in a position where you're going to owe them more than what you have left on the account. So they will request another deposit or more money. So that's why we don't use the cash. We don't want to be running down and wasting time on our vacation to redeposit money. Now the next would be, I would say, debit cards, okay? I never, ever, ever use our debit card for our onboard spending account. There are a few reasons. Your debit card, even though you think it works like a credit card, it is not protected like a credit card would be if there was fraud on it. The main reason why we wouldn't use our debit card is, like I said before, with the cash. They'll put incremental holds on your debit card. So once you get your Cefalu-McNamara card, if you hook your debit card to it, what'll end up happening is they might put a $200 hold or a $250 hold. Once you've reached spending, say maybe $225, then they'll put another $250 hold on it, and another, and another, and another. And the issue with that wouldn't be that they're putting the holds on. The issue is when you get back from your cruise. The cruise line isn't responsible for releasing those holds. Who's responsible is your bank or your credit union. And I know quite a few people that have been very upset when they've gotten back from their cruise, that have used their debit cards against our advice to fund their onboard accounts, and they've had multiple holds on their account for weeks after they've returned. It's a banking issue. It's really not a cruise line issue. I have researched this myself through a couple of different banking facilities and credit unions, and they all have their own procedures as to when the funds would be released. So you could have had $2,000 in your checking account before you left, right? And you only used it for your onboard spending account. And that $2,000 might be held up for up to 3 weeks after you've come back from your cruise. And that's why Frank and I always use a credit card. We will use a major credit card. And don't be confused, not a debit card, a credit card. Somebody that's going to send us a bill. And the reason why we do that is the credit cards have extra protections that your debit card doesn't. So they could hold back their payment to, say, Carnival Cruise Line if we had an issue. They have people that will mediate if there is a problem with the bill. Also, you aren't fronting out money that, let's face it, if there is an issue or a dispute about the bill, they've already got your money. The cruise ship will already have your money if it is on a debit card or if you have used cash. But if you've used a credit card, you're not paying the bill until the bill comes. So you have more disputing power with a credit card. Now, we're hoping that you will take 2 credit cards with you. That's what we suggest. One will be used for your Sail and Sign card, your onboard account, and the other will be your emergency card. And then when you're on shore, you can use your cash. You can go on our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/cruisingwithwheels, all one word. And in the photo section, you will find a travel forms and worksheets album. There will be a cash envelopes album or document that you can download, as well as many other forms and worksheets for preparing for your cruise. I really encourage everybody to think about this aspect of your cruise, not just, woohoo, we're going on a cruise. Be prepared. Know what the difference is between your credit card, your debit card, and cash. I hope that you eventually will get many of these Sail and Sign cards like we have. And until next time, I want to remind everybody to travel safe and cruise often.